Hey everyone, Whip here, and welcome on back into Minecraft. Today we're back here in our single player world, and I am very excited about what we're able to get done in the last episode. Everything you're looking at right here is brand spanking new, from the trees to the gatehouse to the walls to everything over in this area, including a watchtower with a nice little wooden palisade wall being something a little bit skinnier to bring us out to the edge of the cliff, and then who knows what we're going to be doing down there. But anyways, thank you all so very much for the support on the last few episodes here. I've been talking with y'all a lot about potentially not visiting this series for a little while and focusing on source blocks. So a great way to show me if y'all want to be seeing this series continue more and avoid taking that little bit of a break from it would be to hit the like button down below. So please be sure to do that. That's the best way for y'all to tell me that you really enjoy a series. Anyways, in today's episode, we're not going to be focused on that. We're not going to be talking about any of this stuff. What we're actually going to be doing is we are headed up into the mountains right up in here. This is where I want to be building a giant ancient Nordic inspired shrine of sorts. Something you might think of like coming from Skyrim, being in like those borrow dens that they do, where you have the big old ruins on top of the mountains. This is something that I mostly want as a backdrop to our world, so it's going to be something that we can see from down there. Big old ancient stone structure, and I think it's going to be super sweet. But before we get to that, we've got a lot of things to do, like filling in these little spots right here and making it so that we don't have a giant empty mountain. And actually coming with that, it's currently Friday right now because I want to get this one started a little bit early here and give myself plenty of time to work on this thing. So we're actually going to be jumping into a live stream mode here very shortly. So if y'all want to be seeing how we build these mountains and everything, be sure to check that stuff out. All right, welcome on back, people. We were able to get a bunch of work done on that stream last time, and it was really cool. We got so much of this area completed. This mountain here is basically all brand new, as y'all probably saw moments ago, and a lot of this area back here is finished out, added in a bunch of the dirt. The grass has grown all the way up here, and the next step that we have actually is we got to get a bunch of snow on here. So I'm going to be tackling that here pretty soon and just completely converting all of this dirt and grass that we have up here into snow blocks, because I think it's going to look about a million times better. So here is the before, and let's do it. It has been far too many hours than I would like to admit right now, and we've only got this section of it done. This is the majority of it, thankfully, of this big upper area, but I want to get these little snow patches on the peak itself actually. But oh my gosh, like looking at this from down here, something about changing that grass just simply over to being some snow absolutely changes the atmosphere that we get up here. I love this thing. It's so freaking cool looking, and I'm so excited to be getting this thing built up. I just want to give you all a quick progress update there. Well, I guess the good thing about replacing all of the dirt and grass that you had with snow blocks is that you get a whole shulker box back of all the stuff. So that was a good way to regain some materials so we can build some more stuff. And I finished up our main peak as well as most of the stuff on this side one over here because it was more or less finished. But I'm literally out of snow blocks. I have no more snow blocks. I went back to our snow farm and gathered up just enough so I could finish a little bit more there. And I actually fell short on a section back there. So there's a few little dirt things and all that stuff around here. But anyways, we're at the point now where we can start getting into the building, which I'm super pumped for. The thing that I want to focus on today is showing how we can add some story. We can add a bit of a lore to our Minecraft world through just adding some mysterious structures back in the distance, which is going to be kind of what we're focusing on here. And we need a lot more stone brick than what we have, because we're going to be using a majority of that stuff because I think it's going to look really cool. So we're going to start doing a build just purely out of stone brick, and we'll come back and detail it later. But there's something to be said about adding mysterious structures to the distance inside your Minecraft world. You probably have heard me talk about it a few times, just adding ruins off of the distance, like a broken down tower, or maybe like an outpost that is now deserted, or just something along those lines. There's really good things to be said about just kind of going into the distance and just adding something. We never really wander all the way up here. There's no function to it, but it can be something that we visit very occasionally, and it's mainly as the backdrop of something down there. And it gets people asking questions of like, ooh, what's that? Or what's going on up there? So we have this big old structure up here. We have this big old flat snowy area. Sorry for the giant white screen right now, but we've got a lot of space to work with. And I've been kind of torn about where I want to have this actual thing going into the side of the mountain. I was originally thinking about something like right along here would be pretty cool, and just kind of having it sticking out this way, because I think that would be our way to maximize the space. So if we take this and say like we're going to do like a big doorway along this right here, so we can do like 3 stone brick right across there. And then we probably want to extend our doorway out a little bit further so it can come out, or not the doorway. So the doorway is going to be the 3 right in there. Then it's going to come out 2. And then I think I want to have it come out like another like 4 right here to make some cool big pillars. I want to make this very, very large scaled compared to most of the other things that we do in our world. So we're going to have some big stone brick pillars up here on these bits. And that's going to be kind of holding up these giant arches. Think like the Nordic ruins from Skyrim, kind of is the idea that I'm going for here. So we're going to have these big old archways. They're going to be covering this. So we'll have 1 here, we'll have 1 there, and they'll get kind of smaller as they go down. So I'm thinking 1, maybe 2, 3, and then like just some posts down there. And one of them can be broken or something like that. But I think the best way we can actually do this build here is through the form of a good old-fashioned time-lapse. So let's get to it. As we're diving into this build here, I just want to chat with y'all a little bit further about how we can add some lore and some depth and extra just life into our world, because a lot of things that we do here are just making this world look pretty, and a lot of people ask me consistently, like, how do I develop the stories? How do I go about creating these things that we're using that are kind of creating this hierarchy of a storyline that I don't really ever talk about, but you can all really tell that something is going on in here. So the big main part of what I do here is kind of what we're doing in this build. It's that random structure in the distance, but this one here adds a lot of life into this Nordic village that we've talked about. We have the rune stones, we have the general, we're going to be adding into this one, we're going to be adding that elk statue head that we have that's kind of the symbol for our city. And this kind of shows where the elders of this area are buried after they pass away. Maybe this is where the king of the chief or jarl, I'm sorry, would go when they're buried or passed away or whatever it might be. So that gives us a sense of ceremony for when they come up here. It's a special occasion. It's all these special things going on with it, and it's a long trek to get up here. So we can add a lot of different elements along the way, showcasing that journey. And as we can see here, that I'm using a lot of that snow inside of this area, bringing back a lot of the snow in here to really show that it's kind of being torn down or that it's being worn down by the elements a lot. There's a lot of crumbly bits to this one. So maybe it's been a while since they've been up here, or it's just a really ancient structure that's been here for way, way longer than the wooden town that they're currently living in. I added in a few more details after that time lapse there just to get a little bit more of what I was thinking. I just kind of stared at it. I was like, it's not quite enough. So I added some braziers of sorts that they could light up as maybe they're doing a ceremony or something up here. And I'm so glad the sun is setting right now because we get an amazing view from sitting up there. And we got all these little spiky things. I know it's a little bit gothic, adding in a lot of these spikes, especially on this side, especially over here. But I like it. I think it works. I think it does a good job. I added in a lot more cobblestone here as well because I went and looked at it from way down below and it just felt a little samey with all of the stone we have up here. So I'm leaning towards this peak with that darker stone stuff that we had done way long ago as far as our mountain texturing. I'm planning on continuing that throughout the rest of our mountain range. I'm talking about this stuff down here, we're using cyan terracotta and gray concrete powder. But I haven't had the time to continue that. I've been wanting to focus on flushing out the shapes of the mountains more than texturing them. But this is what we're looking like right down here. As you can see, it kind of blends in a little bit, which I think once we get the detail of that stuff, eventually up here, it's going to pop out much more. But I really like it. I think it's pretty freaking sweet. It's really cool. I'm so happy we were able to get this one done. It's kind of what I've been envisioning for a very long time for something to belong up here. And we got our elk statue out the top up there. And then this is what I was talking about. The sun sets perfectly. If you stand all the way up here, the sun's basically like perfectly setting in between those. And I love it. I think that's so freaking cool doing it that way. I didn't even think about that while building this thing. But that's kind of what I wanted to tackle for this side of the projects for today. Because, you know, it needed to be done. We needed to get our Nordic ruins and get some more lore and story inside this place. And next thing that we're going to be tackling right after I sleep over here is I want to be building up this river section that we have right throughout here. So I want to get our river built up, and then where we have this bit of a cobblestone bit right there and over the river, we're going to be building a bridge. Coming through here and getting a bit of a river work done, and it's flowing along right here. Totally pun intended. But what I've been doing is I've been trying to slowly widen the river because I felt like we were a little skinny for what I wanted it to be. I felt like when we brought it back together here, it just kind of got super skinny. So I've been slowly kind of widening it out, and I think I'm at the point, unfortunately, where I need to actually start raising this side up a little bit further and bringing these stone bits up more upper into the air, and then we'll bring in some dirt and everything back here, because the water right now sits at this layer, right? And that's very, very shallow for right in here. So we need to pretty much bring this whole section up. I'm thinking the water line, we're probably going to do something like right along here, and then that'll be kind of like where it starts to flow down into that next layer. Maybe something more like that. So it's kind of flowing down there, and we'll bring it back this way, and then as we work our way up at that level where it steps up one further, then I'm actually going to be raising up the water layer again so we can get some good depth into here, and makes it look like our river is actually flowing down the mountain instead of anything. Unfortunately, to make it actually work for when we come back here and detail underneath and add some slabs and stairs and all that fun stuff, I actually need to do this layer by layer here so that they all fill in with water sources. And Riverway is now finished up going all the way up to here at this point. I've decided to block it off there for now because, you know, we're kind of into the land of we haven't built any terrain out here yet. So there's no point in continuing the river up further. But as you can see, it's getting much, much wider as we go up into the mountains. I think that's going to be really cool, allowing it to be a little bit bigger than it was down here and giving us more room to work with as far as decorating the river out. I still need to go through and slab and stair the base of it. I don't like that it's all stone for now, but I don't really know what else I want to do for detailing underneath, because I feel like if we bring in coarse dirt and a bunch of gravel and everything, it's going to look very much the same as a lot of what our custom terrain is, as I'm staring at uncustomified terrain. It's going to look very samey, just maybe just minus the snow. So I guess that isn't too terrible, and we can keep a lot of the stone in there. And I guess we wouldn't have the path blocks, so maybe that is a good thing that we can do. But let me know in the comments below what y'all think we should do as far as detailing out the base of the riverbed. I like the stone along the side of it. I think it's a really cool touch to have that. And I think we're going to be able to get a lot of cool things done with this river. I want to fly up here into the sky and make sure it doesn't look too big, though. Yeah, I think that's okay. I think because it splits here into two narrower ones, it's probably still the same width generally as what that is, at least for the most part. Down here is a lot skinnier for sure, but then it opens up really, really wide in this lake and everything as we come through here. It's pretty much the same width as what we have, and then this river down here obviously is much, much larger. But I think we're at a good point so far. I'm going to spend a little bit of time here thinking about what I want to do for the road, or for the bridgeway itself. I was trying to see if we could catch, I think that's our highest mountain peak back there, though. That's really cool, with the mountains like popping up while we're down here inside of the valley itself. Like, I've kind of determined this to be a little bit of a valley down here, I guess we could say. Or not really, because it goes right to the ocean. But I was hoping that we could see a little bit of that build that we did earlier today. How long does it take to appear? That's really cool. I know it's probably really hard to see on YouTube right now, but it looks super sweet. Thanks, compression. All right, it's time to do some bridge work over here. And it's a pretty skinny bridge. Like, it's really not gonna be that long. We gotta remember on this side though, the road's actually gonna be at this block level right here to get ourselves started. And I need actually some cobblestone slabs here to help out with the design. I'm thinking is that I want to basically have like this cobblestone, like loose cobblestone bridge type format going down here. So we're going to have a bunch of cobblestone here at the base, which is going to kind of run into what we had beforehand, but it's going to be stacked up here. Let's put those together to make it a little bit easier for ourselves. It's going to be stacked up here a little bit, and it's more or less it's basically the idea is that like we have a bunch of stones that are piled up here, creating an archway in the middle, and then we're going to have a wooden bridge on top of it. I know it's kind of stretching across way across this distance, and I think the middle of it, we might actually, just to save ourselves some time and headache, is I might actually make it so that we are using some wood to help hold it in the middle instead of using cobblestone and stretching across this entire thing, because I think that could look rather boring. But if we bring this all out like right here, I know that's kind of just like missing some blocks right in there in the center, and just something like this to help ourselves get across, I think that'll be pretty good for the cobblestone. Let's see what it looks like from down the river. Maybe we bring in some stairs. So if we bring in some stairs right down here, I think we can actually kind of even it out a bit further, because it looked very much like it was just a flat surface jutting out of nowhere. So I think some stairs would be a good transition way, especially like over here probably. Actually, this side, you know what? I don't like it sticking out there. Instead of that, let's bring in like a spruce log coming right up to here. We got to define like what the shape of this one's going to be. I want it to be wider than 3 wide though. If we do like this, that goes 1, 2, and then 1. That looks a little bit wider. That could be something we work with, because we can have the stone form being right down here, and then we can bring in like this stuff. And actually, I'm gonna, just so we have a direct angled bridge here, I'm gonna bring you back a bit. So we could have this, and we could bring it just straight diagonally that way, and that could work out pretty well for us, because we can do some spruce planks right here, and then that would be a bam, and then we're kind of just slowly inching it up here in the center. And that would be, we're gonna have to redirect it on that side a little bit. This is usually why I say build your road before, or build your bridges before you build the road on both sides, unless you know what you're doing, because otherwise you end up with a lot of rework stuff like what we got going on here. Completely scrap that first plan, and this is what we have so far. We'll figure out the road over here when we get to it, but it's probably just going to be turning these blocks right here into the road, and then we'll bring a little bit grass farther down on that side, or we'll make it a little bit wider because we want to have it so like it's a Y shape, so you can go up that way or you can go up that way there as well. So it's okay being a little bit bigger, but that section right there more or less will be the road. Over on these sides, what I've been wanting to do throughout here is I think we can do something like this and then stack a spruce log on top of it just to make it look very wooden. These spruce logs are going to be going straight up and down, but to get ourselves in here, if we do bam, bam, and then we can do another one of those just like hanging right here, I think then we can bring some slabs, and this will give us a little bit of a lip so the spruce isn't directly showing through everything, and I think it'll help ourselves out here just with getting a little bit of a railing. I'm kind of basing this loosely off of what I remember we did the last time we did a bridge like this one, because I want it to be with the style and everything. So we're just doing a lot of stuff right along here, right like this, and that'll be both of the sides done at least. And then on top of those, just to bring in a little bit more of that cobblestone so it's not just a wooden bridge going everywhere, I want to bring in a few cobblestone walls, which we don't have. But we can do those stacked up right along here for this entire strip, and just something like this, and doing all 5 of those. And then these end bits, I actually kind of want to make this bridge a covered one. So if we bring this up another 3 blocks on each corner, then we can start adding in a bit of a cover. The diagonal part of this cover is going to be a little rough to get here together, but I think it's something that we can manage. And on these strips, it's basically just going to be dark oak stairs right here. And then I want to do some slabs going all the way down at this layer to get ourselves started, and then we'll inch them up a little bit as we go. And here in the center, we could have this stepping up. So what I did here on the corner is a stair, and then an upside down stair on the back of it, then another one here, and then we got another stair right like that, and then doing another one on top of here. And then we do dark oak slab right there, and I don't have any dark oak logs on me. That was a smart move. Then we do our full block right in here, and then bring in a few more of our stairs to make a little bit of like the horn look that we're going for on all these buildings. And it would be something like that. That's okay with me. Let me get the rest of this roof on. Roadway now in place and bridge detailed out for the most part. I apparently forgot to do those. But what I wanted to do through here is come in with a few of these guys, and not that. That was meant to be a lantern. And just dot one of those on each side, just so we have somewhere that's lit up for this bridge. And I got to get rid of my scaffolding that I used to get on top, because I've lost my stack of scaffolding. I don't know where it went, but I cannot seem to find it for the life of me. So I went back to using dirt and any block that I have in my hand to be able to pillar myself all over the places. Love seeing that castle in the distance. There's so many cool views to look at in the distance while we're working in this area. Absolutely love it. I can't wait for all of this to be custom trained too. Ooh, this area would look absurd. It would look so cool. It'd just be completely insane. But that's pretty much it for the bridge design. And where do I have? Let's just fill that with some cobble. That's fine, right? Yeah, we can just do a little bit of cobble. Maybe do like a little bit of dirt right there, and do a little bit like this stuff. I know it looks like a big patch, so maybe we transfer these guys over there. Just mix it up a bit further. We can take you, throw cobble in, and look at that. Texture variation just like that. We did it. All right, welcome back, folks. I think, unfortunately, that's going to have to do it for today's episode. It's been quite a while since the last time we came through. I think I did show you all the finished bridge. So we did that to it, which was super sweet. And then we actually, I know we said this a few times in this video now at this point, we did another live stream. I know this video is coming out on Tuesday, and we do the Monday afternoon live stream. So I decided to hold this ending clip off until after we did that to keep y'all up to date on everything happening around the world here. I don't think I can even get through that point. But what we decided to do was we came up here and built some trees, and now we have a bunch more trees in this area, and it's looking pretty sweet. I gotta say, I'm really happy with this one. Having this backdrop finishing even more with our awesome little building that we made up there. All of those trees in there are brand new, and it's really starting to get that atmosphere and that kind of vibe that I'm going for here. It's getting there. It's very much getting there. Once we have the trees covering that entire upper area, we're going to start scaling back the size of the trees so they get smaller and smaller, so we kind of keep that scale going with us as we're working up into the mountains. And we'll eventually have to figure out how we're going to be stopping the tree line, where the tree line's going to stop as it keeps going upwards. But anyways, thank you all so very much for watching today's episode. Please be sure to hit that like button down below, especially if y'all want to be seeing this series and all these things continuing forward consistently without taking a break or anything like that. Anyways, hit that subscribe button if you're brand new, and I will catch you on the flip side.